Good day, everyone. I hope you're doing really well. I'm wondering if you can relate to this. It feels like that the issue is that you're going to crawl out of your skin if you don't change your body size. If you're struggling with this is the right video for you and you're in the right place. My name is Tracy Brown. I'm a somatic dietitian and a tuned eating specialist. And today we are going to talk about this topic. And I learned this because of my own experience. So this is going to come from my experience. It isn't something I learned from a book, but it was, sometimes in your life you have those epiphany, linchpin moments that change things. And this is one of them. So thank you everybody who's watching live. And those of you who are watching replay, put replay below. If you have any questions or concerns, please tag me. I will definitely answer those. All right, so let's get started. So one day, and this happened probably in maybe 2000, I had the typical person in the jail of internalized fat phobia and disordered eating. I probably was past the place of like having a clinical eating disorder, but I was probably like most people in our Western culture, worried about weight, using exercise to burn calories, trying to diet every morning, and then by the end of the day, maybe by noon, by 3 o'clock, by evening, it would turn into I can't manage anything or control my eating. Sometimes it was a binge, sometimes it was deprivation-driven eating, but it was just the same thing every day. And I think that linchpin day it was also just a day where I had a lot going on in my life. I wasn't in the best living situation. A lot of pressure around a transition happening in my life. You can see where all this created this vortex of feeling so overwhelmed, and none of my strategies worked. Restricting, exercising, counting, telling myself that, if you just tried harder, that you could figure this out on your own, and it's kind of your fault for being this miserable. I mean, it was just a container of too much. So anyway, I had done my daily routine of, trying to burn calories through exercise to feel better about myself and numb myself out from overwhelm and worry and my life situations that desperately just had to change. I mean, it wasn't, and I had to make those decisions. It wasn't like they were just going to fix themselves or time will heal. It wasn't going to happen that way. And I was awake enough to understand that there is genetic diversity, that we can't fully control how our bodies respond to chronic stress. There were so many things that I recognized, okay, I can't control these things. It's my body being in too much alarm that is causing a lot of struggles I'm having, not only with weight, but with headaches and all kinds of other things, and all these other emotional confluxes. So just having this day where I'm doing my thing as usual. And by the end of the night, I was just like, I've done everything. Well, I thought I'd done everything. I'm going to talk about what I actually needed to do, but what I ended up doing is I was just crawling out of my skin. It's like 8 o'clock at night. There's nowhere to go. I felt like there was nowhere to turn, nothing to reach for, no one to talk to. And, I just had done everything I could do with food that you could possibly do. And it just wasn't enough. It wasn't going to fix anything. And I had gotten to this place where I was starting to really recognize that, you can hate your body all you want, no matter, you can hate your body all you want. And you do everything you can possibly do to change it, and it's not changing. Plus, the rest of your life isn't changing. And so I was just I couldn't settle. I couldn't sit on the floor. I couldn't go outside. Going for a drive wasn't going to work. No mantras were going to work. And the only thing I knew how to do, I just felt like I was going to explode. And so I went and laid on the bathroom floor. Some of you know the story. I'm telling things in a lot of detail today to really, if this resonates with you and it helps you, this is why I'm going to do it. So I laid on the bathroom floor. And I laid there and I was just spinning and spinning and spinning. And I really thought, okay, I'm going to die. My heart rate's up. I'm trapped. There's nothing I can do. This is just going to be my life. This is just going to be my life of hell. of doing the same thing over and over again. I'm stuck in this situation. And I laid there and I laid there. And I was having these thoughts, and I'm going to share the thoughts with you, is that, okay, if I don't ever lose weight, and maybe if I keep eating this way, I'm going to gain weight. Maybe. Okay, well, then what? Well, I'll gain so much weight that nobody will ever want to be with me, and I'll be stuck in this terrible relationship that's abusive, and they'll eventually leave me too. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. And then what? Well, if I'm alone, then... And I stopped there because as I started to like spin and spin, at the same time, I started to notice that my body was on the floor. And I started to also notice like, oh, that like suffocating, I'm crawling on my skin is starting to dissipate. And I started to notice the cold tile on my heels and then my like behind, because it was cold. I don't remember what season of time it was. I'm pretty sure it was like early spring, so it was still kind of chilly. And I think I just had on a pair of shorts. So after a while, if the floor is cold and it's hard, it's going to like seep through and you're going to feel the coldness on your behind. I was noticing that. And then I started to notice like, oh, this tile is hard on my like shoulder blades on the back. And then I noticed my head, and it was hard. It was hard. But it was the first time that I had been kind of sort of embodied, and probably, who knows, I mean, I was probably 20 years old at that point. And I don't know if I've ever been embodied, if I'd ever been fully present, ever. And so as I was feeling all these sensations, the coldness, the hardness, even started to feel the space I was taking up, it's like, oh, the thoughts I'm having, even though it's scary, sometimes it's not rational. And my brain started to be able to like, oh, because I could be in my body. And I started to have a little bit of less judgment towards myself about the whole situation. And I wasn't like feeling like I'll never get out of here. And I was getting up basically out of that dorsal vagal of like shut down and shame and all that kind of stuff, and feeling hopeless. And so I started to feel stuff, and I recognized, oh, okay. So even if the situation, this person leaves, and I weigh more than I ever have, and then what will happen? Well, and the truth is, then I could start to connect with what I did have that was good. And there were a few people in my life that, like, no matter what happens, they were probably going to be around. It might not be exactly what I wanted, but it wasn't all bad either. And then I started to think, oh, well, I still have this. I started listing off some characteristics that weren't terrible about me. And then I'd probably find a job, and I probably wouldn't be laying in a gutter with nothing going on for me. And so I started to be able to feel more comfortable in my skin without any, diet behaviors or any change in weight. That feeling of feeling so overwhelmed and trapped was dissipating. And it started for me learning how to ride those waves of like so overwhelmed. Now, I don't recommend you do this by yourself. It was incredibly overwhelming, probably quite flooding, and it's nicer to be able, the things I would have needed is to do something like that, and then had the courage to reach out through my feeling I should know better and figure this out myself, to not be alone with it, to really truly say like, hey, these are the kind of thoughts I'm having, and I know it's not rational, but here it is, but this is how it feels, and this is the cycle I'm in with my food and my movement and my body. And shortly after that, I actually started to, because I recognized the worst thing that I thought would happen. Maybe it wasn't all the things I thought were true were born from that place of dysregulation, of overwhelm. And so I couldn't see what was possibly good. And so this is my hope for you today with this video, is that you start to think about when you're in that upspin or you're really feeling low, you're going to have pretty negative, fear-based or shame-based thoughts that aren't always 100% true about your food, your body, how you should use movement, your situation, whatever. And if you can reach for something that can hold you up, it's got your back. Hopefully that's a person, because I think we heal way, way faster than a bathroom floor. But that's what got me started in recognizing that support, something firm, and it's got my back, and it's not going anywhere, no matter what. started that process of recognizing that, like, I can't exercise away, restrict away, binge away that overwhelm. So thank you all so much for watching this video. If it was nourishing to you, please share it with people that might need to hear something like this too. And we will continue. This is basically our different way to look at body image, because at first in this beginning, I really felt like this is all about weight. This is why I am so miserable. And I come to find out it wasn't. That I was so full of this other stuff that it was just easier to put it all in the body and all the sensations of too much in my body, on my body, than to all the things. So, all right. Well, thank you all so very much. And I hope to see you in the next video. Bye for now.